Hey there folks, Aldershot here, and today we're going to do a quick look into Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero, which is the prequel to the upcoming Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, alright? Now this was originally on consoles and recently got ported to the PC. I should also mention this is produced by Kojima Productions. And on sale on Steam at the regular price at about $20, okay? And as mentioned before, this is a prequel to an upcoming Metal Gear game that I'm sure most of us are quite looking forward to. And this was on console not too long ago, and recently was ported to the PC. Now, I see my little brother play this on his PS4, and it looks amazing on the PS4. It really, really does. But now that I'm playing on PC, on what I would consider a medium to high tier machine, it looks even better. Okay, again, the breakdown running isn't even the highest tier that you can get. It is a medium high, I would say. And I'm getting on an average at around 50 to 60 frames while recording. And also, I'm able to play this on max graphics. The game runs very, very smoothly on the PC. They've done an absolutely fantastic job of porting this thing over to the PC platform. I have to say, the Japanese developers, Square Enix and Konami, they have been doing amazing work with porting their console games onto the PC. In fact, they're doing it much more competently than a lot of Western companies, which is a little bit shocking because a few years back that was definitely not the case. So EA, Ubisoft, I think you guys really have to start taking notes from your Japanese counterparts, because you know, this game, Metal Gear, as well as the latest Final Fantasy 13 releases on PC, they've all been very, very wonderful ports. Okay, so for the PC users who is interested in this game, rest assured you will be getting a very competent product, and it looks fantastic, as you can see. You know, the texture quality is absolutely fantastic. Brilliant use of normal and bump mapping, brilliant lighting effects, amazing model quality, of course. I mean, just look at Snake's face. Let me see if I can get a clearer shot that's not as blurry. This game does like to use atmospheric filtering effects. But anyways, it looks really, really good is what I'm saying. Now, if you are an old school Metal Gear Solid fan, much like myself, you might have heard that David Hayter did not appraise his role to be Solid Snake. Okay, it wasn't really his decision, it was actually Kojima's. And I respect that, honestly. And instead we have Keith Sutherland, I think that's his name, who's voice acting as Snake. I'm not sure we'll get an opportunity to hear an example of his voice work in this video, because this is a quick look, so it'll be kind of short. But, you know, maybe I will have a bias, because I grew up playing the Metal Gear Solid games with David Hayter. But I much prefer David Hayter's performance. I find his voice acting had a lot more character for Solid Snake. I find Sutherland is a little bit more generic, a little bit more Hollywood, but at the same time, you know, I have my biases, so do keep that in mind. And that's not to say that I did not enjoy Sutherland's performance, and it's not to say that he did a bad job either. It was, maybe I just have to get used to it, okay? Now, something else to be aware of, okay? You are only going to be playing this game in this one area. Once you complete this area, that's it. The game is over, you know, move on. And the game overall is only anywhere between 2 to 4 hours long, depending on how you play. Okay? So it is very, very short, and some might consider too short to be asking for the price point. Now, to be fair, recently, well, not overly recently, but somewhat recently, I've done an impression on Transistor, which was a very highly acclaimed indie game. And that game was also priced at around $20, okay? And the thing is, that was also only about 3 to 4 hours, but it got a lot of praise. I praised it, and I enjoyed it, and I recommended it, and a lot of people did as well. And honestly, you know, this game with the same price point and around the same play hours, if you look at it from that perspective, I think it's going to be worth your money. And also, do keep in mind, even though you are only getting about 3 to 4 hours of actual gameplay, and you are only going to be getting this one area to kind of play through, know that there are multiple objectives, and there are multiple bonus things and play modes that you can play through. After you play through the main campaign, just to kind of add that additional degree of replay value to the game. Alright? So the game looks good. If you're a Metal Gear fan, it displays very distinctly Metal Gear. You should have no issues with how the game plays and the enjoyment factor. The only thing is, again, know that this is only going to feature one area, this kind of area here. I'll show you. It is fairly large, not overly large. I wouldn't call it an open world by any means, but it is a fair amount to explore. And do know that it is relatively short, especially considering the context of it being a AAA game. But in the context of just games in general, again, with Transistor being highly acclaimed for a similar amount of playtime and a similar price point, I think it's still justifiable that you invest some time and money into this game and play it, especially if you're a Metal Gear fan, because this is truly a return to form. Not that Metal Gear really strayed too far from its original form anyways. But anyways, folks, I think I've kind of stretched this impression or this quick look long enough. That's how I feel about this game generally. I very, very much enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it. Despite it being short, despite it being only in one area, okay? It is a gorgeous game and it will run beautifully on your PC, assuming you have a mid to high tier machine. Anyways, folks, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you found this informative. If you did, you know, show me some love, like, share, fave, and comment. But most importantly, help me grow, feed me my vegetables, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Aldershot out.